Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about the DNC and specifically the choice of the Democrat Party to have Bill Clinton speak at the DNC. I was absolutely shocked by this choice. I remember hearing his name coming on the list, and I'm like, are they kidding? Surely that's going to get rolled back, right? So, that can't possibly be real, right? But it was a real living nightmare. Like, Bill Clinton spoke at the DNC. Now, we need to break this down because what this means is absolutely catastrophic for what the Democrat Party stands for today and what they've abandoned, in my opinion. All right, so let's break it down. All right, so I'm sure some of you remember, some of you may not, so I'll explain what happened. But 2016 was an important year. It was #MeToo year. And basically, the #MeToo was a Twitter hashtag where essentially there were like hundreds of these instances, at least well over 100, maybe hundreds of these different situations just like this, where a woman would go on Twitter and she would say, listen, I was in a professional capacity, and I had this, and she would say, or I was, connected to some organization or some institution, and I had a situation where a powerful man approached me, a woman, and then made my life, and then tried to engage in intimate relations with me, or did engage with intimate relations with me, and it was horrific, and it was wrong, and I'm calling it out now, and I'm not comfortable with any of it. And also, I used the term intimate relations there. These women used the whole raft of different terms, some of to describe really activities that were in some cases barbaric, just terrible. I'm going to continue to use the term intimate relations, but just understand some of the things that happened were far worse than that, and that's just a catchphrase I'm using to talk about this with some dignity, or to try to retain some dignity for the people involved, the women involved. So basically, and these women were like, this is an abuse of power. This was terrible, right? And I'm saying that it was wrong then, it's wrong now, and I want the world to know, right? Now, here's the difference. That had happened before 2016. But in 2016, hundreds, probably well over 1,000 women, maybe even thousands of women, some large number of women came in and said, #MeToo. This happened to me too, right? I am saying this is real. This is a pattern in our world, right? And the Democrats immediately rushed in and supported women in this time, in the #MeToo time, right? And so I'm like, okay, yeah, that's terrible. That should not be happening, right? And here are the Democrats standing up for something, standing up for something and trying to help people that were in this situation, right? So that fits with the Democrats' playbook. That fits with what they say they believe in, right? Well, in 2020, you have Bill Clinton talking in the Democrat National Convention. What the heck, right? Now, why would that be a problem? Well, Me Too, right? So in the late 90s, I think it was like 98, right? Clinton had a situation where it came out that he had a relationship with his intern, right? Now, check the facts, right? So, 2016 is saying powerful man, woman, powerful man engages in a relationship with this woman, right? And that relationship should have never happened, right? It was completely inappropriate. We now know that everything that was being talked about in 1998 perfectly fit the terrible circumstance that hundreds of women described in Me Too, which begs the question, is Bill Clinton, what he did in 1998 would have absolutely ended up on Twitter, and he would have been one of the Me Too men, right? The men who were being pointed at in Me Too, almost without a doubt, right? Like, it was almost certainly, right? Like, it's, those are the facts. They're like nothing I just said. These have been covered in hundreds of stories, right? So this is, so you have the Democrats in 2016 saying we support women in Me Too. And then in 2020, they're saying, oh, here's a guy who clearly would have been on the Me Too list if what he did, what just happened, closer to the time of 2016, but we support him. And not only do we support him, we're going to give him a platform. We are going to platform him, not deplatform him. We're going to platform him. We're going to make sure that everybody hears his words. What? Like, are you kidding me? Like, that is, in my opinion, the Democrat Party saying, oh, the Me Too thing, that was for then. We're not down with that anymore. Like, times change, whatever. That's not cool. That is absolutely not cool, right? And so I think a lot of people come in and say, well, Scott, that was a long time ago. Were you paying attention in 2019? Where, so basically, in like the late 90s, everybody looks at Bill Clinton's relationship with his intern, with a female intern, and says, oh, yeah, that's outrageous. That's not good, right? But I'm sure that's in the past. I'm sure, that was just a one-time thing. Can't judge somebody on what they've done in the past, over 2 decades ago, right? But the reality is in 2019, there was all this, in the late 90s, there was all this smoke saying, hey, Bill Clinton is not a good guy when it comes to relationships with women, right? This is not good, right? But in 2019, we find out that Jeffrey Epstein, right, who killed himself in prison, right, and has been accused of outrageously monstrous activity, right? Where was this outrageously monstrous activity happening? It was Epstein Learjet Island, right? Like, it happened at the island, right? And that is what people were accusing him of, right? And his response to the accusation was literally to kill himself in prison, right? So incredibly dark, right? But then in 2019, we find Bill Clinton was best buds with this dude. They made, that Epstein, or contacting Epstein, Learjet Island, Epstein Learjet Island, Epstein Learjet Island, Epstein Learjet Island happened 27 times, right? And the things that were happening on that island are monstrous, right? You could just call that place Monster Island. It was horrendous what was happening there, right? And that's what people believe today, or what we're trying to figure out today. So the idea that, it was just smoke and there wasn't a fire, Bill Clinton, when it comes to women and relationships, is a bonfire, right? That seems incredibly clear now, right? So this burning bonfire that is a flagrant, absolutely flagrant pushback against Me Too, and tells all the women who stood up in Me Too that the Democrats really do not have your back. That was a point-in-time support that was incredibly helpful for the Democrats then, but really not so important now, right? What we really want now is to make sure that people who clearly would have been included on the Me Too men's list, right, are platformed. Not deplatformed, platformed. And I mean not like literally platformed, but like given a platform so large that literally like 10,000 news organizations would cover them. Right? Like, it's astounding, right? So I am incredibly disappointed with the Democrat Party for platforming Bill Clinton, who, in my opinion, clearly would have been on the Me Too list if his activities had been simply closer to, with that intern, would have been closer to 2016. And that by platforming him, it is the Democrats shouting to the skies that they have utterly abandoned any support for the Me Too movement. And that is horrific, in my opinion. And I am frustrated as a registered Democrat for being aligned with an organization that would do that to women who really need to be heard, right? And I am incredibly frustrated. That's my opinion, okay? We're talking about a deep subject here. Am I wrong? Did I not understand any of this? Please let me know. I am more than willing to be corrected if I'm not getting the facts right. Let me know, and I want to get the facts right. I will correct any mistakes that I made. That is my understanding of the situation. What am I missing? That's what happened, right? And today, every single day is like this. We look around and we're like, is this situation actually happening? This seems insane, right? But this is our world. We look around and we're like, what the heck? And this is where we're at now. Let me know if I'm not understanding the situation. But as I understand it, I deeply, deeply am disappointed in the party that I'm registered with. I feel they have failed me and failed the women who struggled and showed courage and came forward with the Me Too movement. And to platform somebody who clearly would have been on the hashtag Me Too men's list in 2016 if what they had done had been closer in time proximity is just abominable. All that's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Let me know in the comment below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.